Sims Walker, knocked down.
Oh my God! Davis is going running all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
In trouble. He's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again.
Jackson takes it himself. Look at him dart back and forth. Oh! He broke his ankles.
I have never seen this before in my life.
Still looking. Firing. Near corner. It's caught!
Denver! Unbelievable!
And welcome to the fourth down fiasco.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fourth Down Fiasco, your go-to podcast for all things football. And we are so happy that the NFL is back. Well, Tanner is, because his Steelers are 3-0. Danny's not at 0-3, and I'm not at 1-2. But alas, the NFL is upon us. As always, we ask that you rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It's the best way for us to grow the show. And we just like hearing from you. You know, let us know where you're commenting from. You know, whether if it's the States, whether if you're one of our European listeners. We just always appreciate hearing from y'all. And then lastly, make sure that you check out our sponsor, BetStamp. BetStamp has a collection of all the biggest sports books, you know, from around the world. You know, we're talking BetMGM. Wait, not BetMGM.
Caesars.
Caesars, Bet365. See, I'm not a gambling man, you can tell. FanDuel, all the things. Danny, you know, because you are a gambler, what they got going on right now as far as deals. Are there any specials going on for our listeners?
Bet365 is still doing their $5 bet $5 get $200 in free money.
Free money, wow. I could go for some free money right about now, you know. We have a pretty
spicy 9-leg parlay week 1 or week 2.
You know, we have 2 politicians that are in a pretty tight race right now, and I guarantee if one of them was giving out free money, they would win the election. It'd be illegal. It would be illegal. It would be illegal, but they would win.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, you can go to signupexpert.com/fiasco. Check out our boys over at BetStamp. But with that, week 3 of the NFL saw some, man, it's been a weird season so far.
This has been a weird season. Andy Dalton's the only quarterback to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns this year.
Oh, no, Dak didn't throw for 3 touchdowns. He only threw for 2, but he rushed for 1. I was like, no, Dak had 3 tuds, but you're right.
Yeah. But another thing with BetStamp, we have a new segment. We're going to be kicking it to our Thursday night parlay maker.
We do have a parlay maker.
Max Weber.
Ooh, who you have no relation to.
Spicy parlay. No, I'm not related to him. But he has a spicy 4-leg parlay cooked up. So you'll hear that later on.
Well, we will kick it to him here in a little bit. But first, let's go through this past slate of games. Danny, what were the scores from week 3?
So Aaron Rodgers' Achilles did not explode on him for the first time being back at home in New York as the Jets beat the Patriots 24-3. The Giants walk into Cleveland and walk away winners 21-15 in a very weird game. The Packers beat the Titans 30-14 behind another Malik Willis win in a, quote, revenge game. The Colts hold off the Bears 21-16. The Vikings continue their 3-0 hot start, 34-7 over the Texans.
Wow.
The Eagles come back against the previously undefeated Saints, 15-12 in a very weird game. The Steelers remain unbeaten as the Chargers lose Justin Herbert for like half the game as the Steelers win 20-10. Bo Nix gets his first win of the year, 26-7 over the Buccaneers, which I don't think anybody saw coming.
Absolutely not.
The Panthers light up the scoreboard, 36-22 over the Raiders behind Andy Dalton. The Seahawks whoop the Dolphins with Skylar Thompson leading the Dolphins. The Seahawks win 24-3. The Ravens almost blew a gigantic lead against the Cowboys, 28-25. The Rams, at one point with like a 0.5% chance to win the game, come all the way back and lead for a total of 2 seconds in the game, 27-24. The Lions scrape by the Cardinals 20-13. The Chiefs beat the Falcons 22-17 with another questionable missed passing interference call. The Bills absolutely walk all over the Jaguars on the first Monday night game 47-10, and the Commanders walk all over the Bengals defense and walk out of Cincinnati with their second win of the year, 38-33.
Would like to say I definitely did come on this pod last week and say that the Jaguars were going to beat the Bills, and I somewhat believed that.
I also threatened to quit this podcast if the Bengals lost.
Yeah, both of y'all are here.
Oh, well, hey, I didn't say that I would quit. I
said I will think about leaving this podcast. I haven't. I still can leave.
Yeah, you still can leave. Yes.
I'm just gonna miss the next couple weeks just to see if anyone's like, he actually left.
So I guess, Tanner, you've been the quietest thus far. Which game are you highlighting from this past week? Which one really stuck out to you?
I'm gonna pick the Eagles-Saints game just because it was actually one of the games that I was really confident in the Saints winning, and it was the first time that the Saints offense has looked pretty mediocre. They weren't able to do anything they wanted that they've been able to do against these other teams so far this year.
Which is crazy against the Eagles defense.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get into is the Eagles defense absolutely collapsed against Atlanta, looked terrible. But then they have an amazing game here against a really prolific Saints offense. And the biggest thing with the Eagles right now is they have a handcuff for their coach right now. I think this Eagles roster is still surprisingly really good and could potentially go on a Super Bowl berth, but you're not doing it with Nick Sirianni as the coach. And the issue with Nick Sirianni is he doesn't call the offensive plays. He doesn't call the defensive plays. He delegates both of those. He's supposed to just be there to steady the ship and to, make sure to be like a level head and make the game decisions. But he's terrible at that. He's a volatile coach. He yells at fans. He gets all aggressive. I mean, you saw the time the Eagles beat the Chiefs, and he's trying to flip off the Chiefs fans. And freaking Jalen Hurts is being like, hey, man, don't do that. The fucking quarterback is telling the coach to, be an adult. It's
and then
ridiculous.
The Eagles proceeded to shit the bed and lose 6 of their last 7 games, I do believe.
Yeah, after that. And it's so I don't know why you have Nick Sirianni there as a coach, because I think he is handcuffing the team and he's creating a toxic culture because he's expecting his players really to do everything for him. And he made some terrible decisions just in that game alone. I mean, he was going for it in situations where, the game is so low scoring. And I'm not necessarily always a take the points type of guy. With the Steelers, I am, because I know we're not hitting the fucking end zone. But for other teams, I'm usually not it's okay to take those big risks, go for the 4th down. You don't necessarily need to take the points. But when you're in a low scoring slug match like this, why are you going for it on 4th down? I don't get it. And I mean, the Eagles are beyond fortunate that they actually got a win, because they really should have lost this game with the way Sirianni was coaching this team.
Well, one play decided this entire game, and it was that big Dallas Goddard. Is it Goddard? Or how do you pronounce it? Goddard. Little cross across the middle that ended up going like 70 yards because the 2 Saints defenders, it wasn't a pick play, but it was a soft pick play where their outside wide receiver just took out the 2 Saints DBs and left nobody on that side of the field. And there was a minute and a half left in the game at that point?
Yeah, and if that didn't happen, Philly loses.
They weren't scoring a touchdown.
Yeah.
Well, and let's not forget that Rashid Shaheed completely forgot how to play football.
He had 5 drops or something.
Yeah. He had 5 targets, no catches, and one of them was a perfectly placed bomb, which, I watched it and was thinking to myself, as it's in the air, I'm like, oh, he torched us with that one last week, and then he dropped it. And I'm like, son of a bitch, bro.
The thing is Rashid Shaheed, because I had him on my fantasy roster last year. I might still have him in our Dynasty League. I don't know if I have him or not. I refuse to start him because I know this is how he operates. He'll do really good when he's on your bench, but as soon as you start him in fantasy, he's just going to shit the bed. And so, he had 2 really good weeks that baited everybody. Everybody's like, oh, Rashid Shaheed's actually a big part of this offense. He's not going to do anything for the next 4 weeks. So you're going to keep sitting there thinking, oh, Rashid Shaheed, he's the big shot play guy, and he's actually consistent with it. I'm going to start him on my fantasy roster. Well, guess what? In week 10, he's going to start doing it again. You dumbass. That's what you get.
Do you know who's still a big baiter with fantasy right now? Mark Andrews. People are still starting Mark Andrews every week. He got 0 points this week.
Dude, I have Kelsey in my other league, and it sucked. It's been.
I have officially benched Kelsey. I had Kelsey in 2 different leagues, and I believe in both of them I also picked up Brock Bowers, and so I have officially started playing Brock instead of Travis Kelsey.
Yeah, that's a much better.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
But Danny, you're not going to get to walk away from this. I whooped Danny's ass in fantasy this week. I just want to say that. That's all.
Because Puka Nakua's hurt, Cooper Kupp is hurt, Tyreek Hill has
I don't want to hear it, dog. I don't want to hear it. I whooped yo ass.
In our Dynasty League, Sleeper gave me a 95% chance to beat Carson before the Monday night games.
And you lost?
I lost. 0-3. Again.
How'd you lose?
Hey, but you know what? If you going 0-3 means that your team gets to continue to be undefeated, bro, I would ride that high as long as you
don't give a fuck, Hey, it's the same thing that happened last year. I went 0-5 last year and then almost made the playoffs in our Dynasty League. It's just the way fantasy. It likes to bait me.
Yeah, fair enough. Danny, your game to highlight. What you got?
I was not prepared.
Do you want me to go instead?
Go for it.
Because I am such a hate watcher. I'm going to highlight the Rams 49ers game because nothing in this world makes me happier than watching the 49ers lose in tragic fashion. I do want to just say Brock Purdy looked nice this entire game, and especially considering that his wide receiver 1 is out and his RB1 is out, he still put up some good numbers. I will shout out Big Cock Brock for that. Dude was out there hooping. You know what I'm saying? 292 for 3 touchdowns. Did a great job, but it didn't matter because Los Angeles is gonna Los Angeles and beat teams that make you scratch your head when they beat them, and then lose to teams that you go, how did you lose to that team? And I love them for that, specifically because they play San Fran. I felt I thought that 49ers were still going to kind of run away with this game, even with the injuries that they have on the offensive side of the ball, just because, as we saw, Rams defense is still pretty good, and San Fran still put up 24 and made it look easy. And Juwan Jennings, the second coming of Jesus, apparently, with 175 yards, 3 touchdowns, just seemed like it was going to be San Fran's game.
Man, fuck Shanahan, dude. Randomly just Juwan Jennings and Jordan Mason just can do whatever the fuck they want to do. It's like,
bro, that Shanahan offense is legit. I don't like giving them credit, but I will because they lost, and so it's okay to give them credit in a loss. But yeah, no, the plug and play stuff, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so stupid how it works every time. And Brock looked amazing. He did really well. What's most impressive? Yeah, exactly. But what's most impressive really is that with that Rams team is you can never really count them out. Yeah. Because we did count them out last week because we were like, they're down Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. They're not looking great. They're 0-2. They're probably dropping 0-3. And we all said 0-3 is a death sentence. And they didn't do it. They actually pulled off an improbable win against the 49ers. And it really was a McVay masterclass. He just out-coached the shit out of Shanahan.
The play that changed the game was the fake punt on 4th and 4.
Yeah.
They were down 14-0.
Huge. And they're just a scrappy team. LA's kind of always been a scrappy team, at least in the Matthew Stafford era. Because I'm looking at these stats right now, and if I didn't know the score and I was just looking at counting stats, I'd be like, damn, San Fran whooped their ass. No, they didn't. Bro, Kyron Williams was averaging 3.7 yards per carry, and somehow the Rams still put up 27 points.
So
it is what it is.
Stafford is him. He always has been.
Well, and Stafford only had 21 yards and 1 touchdown. Still got the dub, though. That's all that matters.
A dub's a dub.
A dub is a dub. But yeah, just hate watch. Love the hate watch. You all know me. I'm also looking at like the defensive stats too, and yeah, LA only had 1 sack, which is crazy. No picks. They did have the 1 forced fumble. Whereas, like, even on paper, it looks like San Fran's defense even played better because they had 3 sacks, multiple tackles for loss, 4 pass deflections, 5 QB hits, and yeah, still somehow Los Angeles walks away with this one, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
They're still going to go farther than you, though, so it's okay.
You know what? As long as I can hate watch and my hate watching is successful, I don't care. Because at the end of the day, the NFL is all about how many rings do you have and when was the last time you won a ring? And we have won a ring more recently than the 49. Okay, shut up, Steelers fan. Fuck off. We know.
More recently than both of your bitch asses, too.
Okay, Cincinnati.
I was alive for mine.
Okay, fuck you.
On more 49ers news, though, Christian McCaffrey, he's been out with Achilles tendonitis, is going to Germany to see a specialist.
No, so he's out for the season. Got it. Okay.
Achilles tendonitis, I saw a report saying it's most likely career ending for most players.
Of course, the 1 year that I pick him in like all of my fantasy leagues.
Talk about the Madden curse.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
But why is it the last like 5 years, like the unanimous like 1-1 in fantasy out?
Yeah, because last year it was Jefferson.
Yeah, Jefferson missed like half the season last year. McCaffrey this year.
I mean, dude, it's been happening since like we went to college. I mean, remember the Todd Gurley and David Johnson back-to-back years, and both of them were injured the whole year after.
Eric's freshman year took David Johnson, and then he just tore his ACL.
Oh, dude, the Todd Gurley one was so brutal because it was like he was the dude in the league and he was never the same afterwards. He, because some of these guys do a good job of recovering after these injuries. He was not one of them.
Well, that was what's so crazy about it. It was back to back. David Johnson had that terrible injury, never looked the same after, and he was amazing the year prior. And then Todd Gurley does it immediately after. And it's like, both of those guys, I thought, we're going to be talking about David Johnson and Todd Gurley until, this.
Isn't Todd Gurley like younger than Joe Mixon? Like he's still like 28, 29.
He's the same age as Zeke because I remember when the debate used to be who's better, Todd Gurley, Saquon, or Zeke. Like that was the 3-headed dragon that people always talked about. Like who's the best of those 3?
Zeke's 29, Gurley's 30, Derrick Henry is 30.
And then there's Derrick Henry who just never seems to age.
But like the thing is, like Todd Gurley retired how many years ago? Like 4?
I mean, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Yeah,
it's crazy.
He did not recover well from that injury.
No. His last season was 2019.
But he didn't really play that year, did he?
No, he was with the Falcons that year.
Yeah, he didn't do much. So technically 2018, I guess.
Yeah, he didn't really. Well, he played in 20. He played with the Falcons in 2020. For it looks like a decent amount. He was mostly like an RB2 or 3, and then he didn't play in 2021 and announced his retirement in 2022.
Gotcha.
So he did actually play most of 2019.
Okay.
Danny, do you have your game now? Are you prepared?
Yeah. I do want to talk about the Packers and Titans.
Okay.
The Titans. Will Levis has to be the most entertaining quarterback to watch when you're not a fan of the Titans. Have you seen his picture each week?
Dude,
best picture of the game.
Wild stuff goes on with that, man.
Like he was on his knees with his hands behind his head in week 1. Week 2, he was like diving across the field,
down, trying to pitch the ball.
This game, he's like upside down, getting wrecked. Someone's like natural progression. He's just gonna be like standing on his head week 4. kind of like the mercenary center.
I was about to say, yeah.
But it looks like he's just playing backyard football. He has 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, a fumble lost. It's like he's just all over the place.
It's my favorite brand of football player. It's like the Jay Cutler, QB. It's the Jameis Winston QB.
He will sacrifice his body if it means that he can win a game.
He's going to do stupid shit the whole time.
I respect it, though.
I can't imagine. Brian Callahan has to be out of his mind watching this dude play quarterback.
Dude, he keeps throwing away games. The Titans could be 3-0. Like, they really could. They've been competitive and all. Well, actually, they got blown out by the Packers this week, right?
Yeah, I was about to say it was over after the first quarter.
Sorry, they could be 2-1.
It was 17-7 after the first quarter.
But Green Bay really let off the gas after the first quarter. They were getting everything that they wanted. Malik Willis looked good.
So it was 10-7. And then Will Levis decided to throw a pick 6.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, Tennessee was just like, we're going to be smart with the football. That's all we're going to do. We're just going to, if we score, cool. If we don't, it's Will Levis.
I have been super impressed with Malik Willis these last 2 weeks.
With who? The last? Oh,
Malik Willis. I can't believe how well he's turned his career around in Green Bay. Like, I mean, he looked borderline like it. When he was in Tennessee, it almost looked like he couldn't be a UFL quarterback. Like, that's how bad he looked.
He looked wildly.
He looked so terrible, and he's looked very competent these last 2 weeks in Green Bay, which I counted Green Bay out as soon as Jordan Love went down. I was like, oh, Malik Willis is their backup. They're going 0-4 in those games that he's gone, like, immediately without a thought. But, I mean, he's proven me wrong. He's looked amazing.
2 wins.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not amazing, but he's looked very good for what I expected.
I quite enjoyed his performance. 202 yards passing, a touchdown, no picks. Took care of the ball, 93 QBR, and then 6 carries for 73 yards, a 12-yard average, and a TUD. I mean, I enjoyed the show. It was a good showing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I want to talk about this game because of Malik Willis. But he's just been playing well. And
yes,
I know the Packers, they're not going to give up on Jordan Love. They just signed him to a big contract. But say Jordan Love was out like 6 weeks and they're 7-1 by the time he gets back. What do you do, honestly? Like, this is all hypothetical, of course. It's like,
I mean,
can you just dump him?
You always have to ride the hot hand.
Yeah.
It doesn't. That's how Dak got his job. They won. It was something ridiculous, like 11 out of 12 games while Romo was out. And they were like, well, we're on an 11-game winning streak. We're not going to put Romo back in. That sounds kind of silly.
Yeah.
It happened to Aikman back in the 90s at one point, in between I believe the year that they lost in the NFC Championship game. Whoever the backup was, it was like 5 games in a row. They were 5-0, and they had started off kind of piss poor. And Aikman came back, and they're like, no, until he starts to suck, you're going to be on the bench. And I am an advocate for that philosophy. If you got a dude that's balling out, let him continue to ball out. And then once the confidence drops, and if he does turn into Malik Willis of old, Titans Malik Willis, then yeah, hey, you've got Jordan Love, put him back in. And it also keeps your number one guy fresh too, if you go about it that way.
Yeah.
I think if you're the Packers, I mean, if Jordan Love comes back healthy, but you're still winning games, just keep playing Malik Willis until you're not winning games, then just throw back in Jordan Love. Just be like, hey, we're just going to let you rehab this for a little bit longer. I know you say you're good to go, but I mean, look what Malik's doing out there. He's winning us games. We're just going to let him go. And then, if you make the playoffs and Malik Willis is still winning you games, then you can probably make a more difficult decision there.
Yeah.
But for the regular season, might as well just play Malik. That's why, every Steelers fan's been saying, do not put Russell Wilson.
Not to bring that back in.
Do not put Russell Wilson in the game.
Yep.
Like, Justin Fields is playing great. I mean, he's the best quarterback we've had since Big Ben. Like,
I was about to say, since Ben.
Yeah, since Big Ben. Like,
that is such a weird statement to say, I bet.
No, it is. It's very strange. I mean, he's definitely looked the most competent, and he looks better than like the last year or two of Ben, because I mean Ben's arm was shot by that point.
The last couple of years of Ben, he was just a shell.
Yeah. I mean, he played smart because he's still Big Ben, so like we did okay. But I mean,
and he's also just a massive human, so he's hard to bring down.
Yeah, but he couldn't throw it more than 15 yards down the field.
He couldn't walk. He couldn't throw. He couldn't.
Yeah.
But hey, if you tried to tackle him, he could continue to stand up.
That's true. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with Malik Willis and Jordan Love. But I imagine they don't bench Malik Willis if they keep winning. They do have a pretty scary stretch right now, though. They have Vikings, Rams, Cardinals, Texans, and I think they could beat all those teams, but those should be 4 competitive games.
Jordan Love was questionable this past weekend, so he probably is almost good to go if they do need him to go.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, like, I mean, if Malik Willis walks out of that range, like if he beats Vikings, Rams, Cardinals, Texans, you're not benching him, right?
No, yeah, not at all.
Like, you're going to keep him for those. But this is the spot where you could easily see Jordan Love come back in, because you are playing these 4 teams. And even though these 4 teams aren't necessarily like a ton better than the Packers, these are teams that can have competitive games against the Packers. It's not like they're playing, the Giants, Browns, Jags,
No,
like
Okay, so do we want to go ahead with our? Sorry, you mentioning the Texans kind of reminded me our fiasco awards of the week.
Yeah, well, let's do that.
Anybody want to volunteer to go first?
You brought it up. You can go first.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give the fiasco, my fiasco award of the week to the Houston Texans, and specifically to CJ Stroud. Just because, after beating Chicago and everything, like, there was that whole, like, they had it like mic'd up where you can hear him talking to Caleb Williams, and it was condescending. It definitely was like you could tell just by the way that he was talking, he felt like he was the big dog and Caleb Williams was the little pup. And Caleb Williams didn't take it all that great, and people were like, "Oh, he should have taken that better." I'm like, "No, screw that." I'm like, that dude was talking mess. That was not a kind, hey, good game, I really believe in you type of spiel. It was some bullshit. It was some, hey, little pup, keep your head up. It was very condescending, and I didn't like it. And y'all know I do love me some CJ Stroud, but he got humbled this week, and I love the picture of him. Sam Darnold's kind of like patting him on the back, and it really reminds me of, y'all know that picture that they use for memes where it's the big gray wolf, and then it's like the little husky, and the husky looks so scared next to him. I'm like, that is, bro. You let Sam Darnold dog walk you, brother. Like,
dude, Sam Darnold has, like Malik Willis, been reimagined.
Bro, Sam Darnold had 4 touchdowns, bro. That is, and no picks. That is crazy.
Sam Darnold's playing like college Sam Darnold.
Yes,
there's a reason he was number 1 QB in his draft.
He just happened to go to New York.
Sucks when you get drafted by the Jets. I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy what happens if you're actually a part of a competent organization.
They're good quarterbacks. They're the top 30 quarterbacks in the world.
But yeah, CJ Stroud, 2 interceptions, I believe. Did he fumble? No, he didn't fumble. I thought he did. But yeah, had the 2 picks, and one of them was really bad. And yeah, just, I still want nothing but success for CJ. But I do hope that this was a moment that humbled him, because he needed it. Got a little too big for his britches for a guy who's won 1 playoff game, and it's in his 2nd year of being in the NFL. Like, brother, calm down. You're not Patrick Mahomes yet. You're not Tom Brady. You still got some work in that regard. But yeah, my fiasco.
Freaking out.
Yeah, my fiasco award goes to CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans for getting that ass whooped.
You're not gonna like my fiasco award.
Let me guess, it's us.
No.
Oh,
we love him.
Oh, Baker. Oh, we need to wait for Tanner to come back.
We could kick it to Max real quick. No,
yeah, you know what? Screw it, because I want to see. I want to see Tanner's.
All right.
reaction to it. All right. Hey, real quick, everybody, we're going to kick it to our inside. What do you call him? Parlay
Bet
insider?
stamp parlay Thursday night parlay maker.
Thursday night parlay maker. Yeah.
Working name in progress.
Yeah. To be determined. But yeah, we will kick it over to Max and we'll come back right after this.
Right after this.
Hello, Fourth Down Fiasco fans. My name is Max, and this is the parlay I'm rocking with this Thursday night. First off, we got the Cowboys money line at minus 230. I think they're going to have a bounce back game after that, well, embarrassing loss against the Ravens at home. Next, I'm going to be adding CeeDee Lamb anytime touchdown scorer to that parlay. He didn't have a great game. I think he'll bounce back. Third, they've been struggling to get Zeke the ball and get him involved. That's why I'm taking his over on 1.5 catches. And finally, I'm going to take Malik Neighbors over 50-plus receiving yards. You put those four together, looking at plus 625. Great odds for this Thursday night's parlay. Back to the boys.
And we are back. Thank you so much, Max, for giving us a little parlay action. We do want to say real quick that if you place any bets and you lose money, we are not responsible. If you win money, though, we are definitely responsible. And share some of that pie with us. You heard me? But Danny, you had your we had started and then Tanner walked away, but we wanted to see his reaction.
Yeah. So my fiasco player of the week. Mm-hmm. We love him here. He's everywhere. He's in our bio. Good old Baker Mayfield.
Played like ass.
Played like ass.
Not the Bengals defense.
That's a whole different story. You are not wrong. That's like the ultra fiasco. Like Baker's just a fiasco. Like there was like a whole head and shoulders above Baker and CJ Stroud and whoever you pick. That's the Bengals defense. They got called a high school defense on national television. But Baker Mayfield, only 163 yards, 4.9 average. Did throw for a touchdown, but also threw a pick. Got sacked 7 times. I know not all sacks are quarterbacks' faults, but this kind of just leads on the game itself. Denver got sacked 0 times. Bo Nix not hit under the ground at all. Baker 7. That is a huge difference.
Baker got outplayed by a rookie.
Baker got outplayed
by a rookie.
Baker's QBR was 10.3.
Yeah. QBR of 10.3. Crazy. So sad. I mean, he'll bounce back. You know, we are big Baker Mayfield truthers on this pod. He's still got that dog in him. He's not going to let one bad performance shake nothing for him. No. But you can't escape the award. If you play like ass, you get the award.
That's my fiasco player of the week.
Baker's in a situation where I think his career is going to look very similarly to Jared Goff's, where he's going to have really good weeks where you're like, oh yeah, Baker Mayfield, he's that guy. Like he can lead you to a Super Bowl, right? And then you're going to have the weeks where it's like, oh shit, Baker Mayfield looks pretty bad, And I mean, we saw that with Jared Goff last week. I mean,
what did you call Jared Goff?
Jared Goff versus Jared Goof.
About the game manager thing, I'm trying to remember what you said.
Oh no, I
mean, he is a game manager. I mean,
but he's not a good one.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't know. This was a weird game because I was really confident that the Bucs were just going to dog walk the Broncos because the Broncos have not looked good this season. So the fact that they blew out the Bucs, and the Bucs are a scrappy team. I don't think the Bucs are like amazing, but they've competed relatively well with the competition they've been given in front of them. And for them to lose to the Broncos, it was kind of shocking because I don't think the Broncos defense is particularly that good.
They're pretty solid, but they're not
solid. But they're not like a top unit.
They have a good secondary, which is helpful.
They have a great secondary.
Yeah,
which
not enough to stop Godwin, Otten, Evans, and
really, they had enough to stop all of them.
Normally not.
So it was just it's a weird game. I was kind of shocked that happened. I mean, good for the Broncos. Bo Nix looked great, and hopefully that's a good sign for Bo Nix's career. But
still waiting for his first touchdown pass.
Yeah.
Well, it'll come. But he did have a nice rushing touchdown, so give him credit where credit's due.
Oh yeah, I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying he's still waiting.
You see it a lot of times with rookie quarterbacks. It normally takes a couple of games, especially if you're a rookie quarterback that's trying to take care, at least attempting to take care of the ball, because it really just depends on what type of, I guess, rookie season your coaches allow you to have, because you'll get guys who are gunslingers and a coach is like, look, we're going to suck, sling away, have fun, and see what you can get in there, see what you can't, figure it out. And they do so. But then you also get guys, like in this instance with Bo Nix, where it's like, hey, you should really try your best not to throw picks. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, if you're not going to let him sling it like he did in college, which is what he was known for, then it's gonna take him a little while to feel confident in, okay, this guy is wide open, I'm going to hit him in stride. Versus, there are some quarterbacks who their rookie year, they're like, fuck it, I can split 3 defenders.
Yeah.
All right, Tanner, who's your fiasco player or players of the week?
This is really hard.
Doesn't really matter.
This is really hard because there's so many different candidates this week.
Luckily, there's 3 of us.
I know. I'm going to give a couple of honorable mentions, though. First one is obviously to Deshaun Watson. Go fuck yourself. That's all I got to say about that. After losing to the Giants, like, come on now. That's so funny. It's so good. The Bears' offensive line is just. Did you guys see that clip of where they blocked the 4th and 1 and every single offensive lineman was on the ground?
Yes.
Yep.
Terrible.
They ran.
Absolutely.
What is up? Hold on. Time out. What is up with teams running on 4th and like inches, a sweep to the left?
Because they're stupid.
It happened twice.
They're so dumb. I don't know why you make that call. Also, another person on the Bears, Shane Waldron, their new offensive coordinator. You're terrible. You're actively ruining your rookie quarterback already. He's only 3 weeks in, and we're already sitting there like, oh man, how is Caleb Williams? It's like, gee, good Lord.
Dude,
Caleb Williams not good.
He's getting hit every play.
Dude, it's so bad. The offensive line and the offensive play calling have just been so bad.
We've talked about it before, though, that like if you're going to use your first round pick on a quarterback, you gotta make sure that there's a freaking offensive line for him, man.
Yeah,
to some degree,
you can't succeed when you're getting hit that much. Like you're just
and then you're just gonna shell shock the kid. Like what we've seen with Bryce Young, where it's like now he's just afraid to be in the pocket, and Caleb Williams is gonna get to that point if you don't help him out somehow.
He's already there.
So
yeah.
Okay, so those are your honorable mentions.
Those are my honorable mentions. For my real pick is just the Las Vegas Raiders in general. Everyone knew going into that game, this was the trap game. You just come off a really good win against Baltimore. Mm-hmm. You're going into Carolina. Carolina's switching to Andy Dalton. Almost everyone knew, like, oh, this is a trap game. Watch out for the Panthers. And the Raiders decided to ride on their coattails of beating the Ravens and go out there and just completely shit their pants against a team that people thought was going to go 0-17. And it's okay. Yeah, Andy Dalton did really well, and this team might be better than we gave him credit for. But how are you not going to actually properly game plan for it? And again, this goes further into my theory that Antonio Pierce is the worst coach in the league. I just don't think he has the coaching capabilities to prepare his team. And I don't think he has full control of his locker room because Devontae Adams penciled that in. He had a great game against Baltimore, and then he shows up against the Panthers and is just like, no, I'm here today. I don't need to try. I don't need to run my routes.
He wants out.
And can you blame him?
No, not at all.
He went there because he wanted to play with freaking Derek Carr, and they said, "Oh, but we got Jimmy Garoppolo. Ooh, we got Jimmy Garoppolo."
Hey, do you not love model quarterbacks?
Yeah. And then we bring in Gardner Minshew, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, Minshew mania! Let's get it going." And it's like, what has happened every single time Gardner Minshew has played for a team? He looks okay some weeks, and other weeks he looks terrible.
They're already talking about getting rid of him.
And it's because they're dysfunctional. They're dysfunctional as shit. Antonio Pierce has no control over that locker room. He's just a bad coach, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And hey, he shouldn't be a head coach because he's just some guy because what was he doing with the Raiders before he was interim? What type of coach was he?
Wasn't he just like the assistant head coach?
Yeah, I don't think he was, because he wasn't a coordinator.
No, he was a position coach. Was he a running
linebackers coach?
Oh.
He was the linebackers coach. Well, he was a linebackers coach because he had this really great Arizona State job, and then he was freaking committing transfer fraud or whatever it was, and like completely ruined the Arizona State football program. And he walks away from that hands free because he got a comfy NFL job, and now he's just a head coach. And it's like, this is a guy who's never had to deal with the consequences of his actions. So of course he's going to lead a shitty football team.
Must be nice to be rich.
Right.
The Raiders just love giving shitty head coaches a lot of money.
I mean, dude, they do it better than nobody else.
Dude,
that John
hey,
Gruden
if they want to give a
10-year,
shitty head coach
$100
some money, I am available. Run me a contract. Day one, we could be the worst team in the league.
I feel like the three of us could coach the Raiders better than Antonio Pierce.
I mean, yes. But if we're talking about you want me to guarantee that it'll be a shit show, I can guarantee that for you. I can outperform on that one. Run me the money.
I guarantee we'd be 2-1 if we were coaching the Raiders.
Hell,
I don't know about that one.
We'd be 3.
Hey, you know what? Actually, you're right. We'd be 3-0.
We'd be 3-0. What do you mean? Yeah,
we're smarter than Antonio Pierce. Come on, listen, we have a podcast.
Y'all would be on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, and I would just make sure that everybody's in really good fucking running shape, and we would be so elite. I'd be strength and conditioning. Y'all would be the masterminds, and we would
be cooking up a Mike McDaniel's offense on steroids.
I'd be doing so much cocaine.
It would be stupid. Our offense would be insane. We'd be putting
I'd be so hopped up, man. It'd be crazy.
And Tanner would literally just copy and paste what the Steelers are doing on defense. Would literally just be, all right, let's see what the Steelers did this past week. Yep, we're running it again.
The Raiders have a solid defense. Like
they do.
Coach they could be pretty good.
Yeah. And I would just make sure that anytime we have an embarrassing performance like this, I'd be like, all right, y'all are going to run until I puke. That's how it's going to go.
You would do what Nick Sirianni does, but actually do it, you know?
Yeah.
Just go yell at the fans.
Yeah, I wouldn't be yelling at fans, and instead would just be, I would be the face mask grabbing coach.
In the NFL, you can do that.
Yeah. Now Devontae Adams might smack the shit out of me, but we gonna do it. And I'm gonna eat that smack, and I'm gonna continue holding on to it just so the rest of the team knows I ain't no bitch. I ain't no bitch. Well, cool. Do y'all have any last thoughts about week 3?
Do you want to rant about your Cowboys real quick to end the show?
Nah.
Yeah, we gotta do pick'ems still.
Oh, pick'ems. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Good shout, Tanner.
Good call, Tan.
Week 4. All right. Thursday Night Football. Cowboys versus the Giants.
Bounce back game. We finna whoop that ass. Go Cowboys.
I concur.
And so does Max. He took the Cowboys money line in his 4-leg parlay. Saints Falcons.
Oh, and it's in Atlanta?
Yep.
I got Falcons for this one. I think the Falcons have looked pretty good these last couple of weeks. And I still think the Falcons are a better team than the Saints, even though the Saints looked really dominant those first 2 weeks.
The Falcons should at least be 2-1.
They should be. And I believe in Kirk Cousins. You know, people overreacted after week 1 because of how bad he looked against the top 5 defense.
He fixed his stance.
Yep.
And also, he just came back from an Achilles or whatever it was.
No, I don't care about that.
Yeah. So he can walk again now. So we're good.
Yeah, I'm taking Falcons as well.
Falcons.
This is a weird one. Rams
Bears. Ooh.
I'm taking the Rams. I like their defense over the Bears' offense.
I'm taking the Bears.
Da Bears.
Da Bears.
In Caleb Williams' term. Da Bears.
Hey, he is the most zesty quarterback in the league. You leave him alone, all right?
Tanner?
I'm going to go with the Rams. I don't have much faith in the Bears' offense at this stage of the year. And I think you can rely on Stafford still to manufacture you good drives. I just think while you have Shane Waldron as your OC in that offensive line. I mean, good luck winning games.
Yeah, and the Rams, did they pick up or draft another edge to replace Donald?
I don't remember.
But whoever they did is balling. He is really good this year.
I'm making a spicy take. Caleb Williams is going to have 3 touchdowns. Only 2 through the air, but he's going to have 3 total. Calling it now.
Let's see it.
He said 2 in 3 weeks.
I understand that.
Hey, he's throwing to Cole Kmet now, so maybe now it'll work. You know.
Hey,
The Bears are gonna have to cut a football in half because Caleb Williams decided to throw his first touchdown pass to Rome Odunze, who also caught his first touchdown pass.
Oh, that's a good point.
Hey, Rome Odunze is going to get both of those touchdown passes that I just mentioned, and then Caleb Williams is going to run for one.
So you're saying take Rome for 2+ tutties on FanDuel.
But you see, I don't gamble. Nice try, though, Danny.
Just put $200 on it. It's no big deal.
We're not liable.
No.
Yeah.
It's going to hit, and someone's going to be like, thanks.
Like, yes, we are always included in the success.
Viking Packers
Ooh.
in Lambeau, but not winter game.
Ooh. I think this is the first game the Vikings lose. I think Packers win this one.
Tanner?
I'm just going to keep riding the hot hand. Vikings haven't shown any reason for me to pick against them right now.
Yeah, I agree. Naylor's filling in for that wide receiver 2 spot really well. You still have Jefferson. Aaron Jones coming back for vengeance against the Packers.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Ooh. Is it too late for me to switch?
Real revenge game. You said Packers.
Okay, fine. I said Packers.
We can let you switch.
No, it's too late.
You want Packers, so we all vote for Vikings. Steelers, Colts. Anthony Richardson with his 3 touchdowns to 6 interceptions on the year.
I'm picking the Steelers. The Steelers are their defense is going to eat him alive.
Yeah. I think there probably will be some big Richardson bomb, but I mean, Tomlin really knows how to game plan against rookie quarterbacks. So I think he's just going to make Richardson have a bad day.
Yeah. How the Steelers are going to be 4-0 is mind-boggling.
Crazy. Congrats.
We're going to finish 10-7. That's the dumb thing.
I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. It's a weird year for the Steelers. I still don't think they're going to do anything in the playoffs. I think they might win like a single playoff game. Their offense is just not there yet. But I can see this team winning a stupid amount of games for no reason.
That's fair. Like your undefeated season up until you went 11-0, and then you
we went 11-0,
and then lost to us
and the Bengals on Monday night with Ryan Finley.
Yeah,
bro, that's a name I haven't heard in a very long time.
This is another interesting game. Broncos Jets.
Oh, give me the Jets.
Yeah, I think the Jets are good.
We finally got to see some things click for their offense, and I don't even think that it's even remotely close to their ceiling because Braylon Allen and Breece Hall as a 2-man tandem, I have so much faith in that. And then Conklin looked, I mean, when you have a competent quarterback, your position players tend to look better. But Conklin was out there just running shit. So yeah, I'm going with the Jets on this one.
No, I like Jets as well. Eagles Bucks.
Brother, give me Baker Mayfield for a comeback game. I like it.
Kiddo.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Baker bounce back.
Baby.
Baker bounce back. Nope. And considering that Jalen Hurts is the most turnover-prone quarterback in the NFL right now, I like that against the Bucs defense. Meow.
He has a negative turnover into touchdown ratio right now, 3-4.
Mm-hmm. Sure does.
All right. The winless Bengals against the 1-2 Panthers, who Andy Dalton is playing against the Bengals again. Somehow, every time the Bengals just stumble across the team that has Andy Dalton, he is starting. He's not even supposed to be the starter. Happened with the Saints. It happens with the Bears, the Cowboys, and now the Panthers.
Y'all are going to lose. Daddy, y'all are going to be 0-4.
What is up with us playing
Because of Andy Dalton.
It's gonna light the fuck up. Like that, dude. That defense looks so bad, man. Andy Dalton has been a quarterback for a long time.
About to have a field day.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I hate to do this to you, but I feel pretty confident the Panthers are gonna win.
The Panthers may not win another game for the rest of the season, but Andy Dalton is going to beat you.
Andy Dalton is drooling in his sleep at practice on his way to work, on his way home. He's just like, oh, Cincinnati's defense after Monday.
Honestly, before the season even started, he already had it circled on the calendar and said, yeah, when they bench the rookie. Well, not rookie. When they bench Bryce Young, he's like, I know they're benching him week 2. I'm gonna ball out just to scare the shit out of Cincinnati. Remind them who they lost.
They took Joe Burrow instead of keeping me.
Redheads are better than blondes.
I
really don't want to pick the Bengals, but I feel like I have to pick the Bengals.
I mean, they got to win a game here soon, right? Like, there's no way, but I see the vision, and it's making me
Danny, I'm sorry. I'm going to be hate watching this game.
Why do you hate the bet? You don't have to hate watch. You can just watch.
Oh, no, it's hate watching because it involves you.
Why do you hate me? This is the second time today. I walked out of work and you were like, screw you, blah, blah, blah. I didn't even do anything. You said see you in 30 minutes and then like cussed me out.
I don't know. Just something about your face. It's just punchable.
I dropped off your crew neck today.
You did. I appreciate it. Yeah, because we have merch now.
You can't buy it, but if you do want to, let us know.
Yeah, we can figure it out.
It's not available for sale, but we could figure something out.
We've got what? Jags at
Jags Texans. The Jags are going to go 0-4, really?
Yeah, Jags fucking suck. I don't know, man.
What happened to the Jags?
The Jags, just their existence. I don't think anything's changed. I think it's just the status quo, right?
You know what? I'm just going to keep picking the Jags until they win a game. So I'm picking them to beat Houston.
Yeah, you'll be right eventually, maybe.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm picking the Jags over Houston.
I'm going Houston with a bounce back.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they should have their running backs back this week too, so that might be a big deal. All right. Commanders and Cardinals. You can go see them for $19. Who are you picking?
That's crazy.
Good for them. You know, I'm going to go with the Commanders because Jaden Daniels is looking good, and I don't like it, but he's looking good.
I don't think the Cardinals defense can stop this Commanders offense.
I don't think so either. I'm sorry, just anytime I have to cheer for,
the commies.
The commies, those freaking commies, brother.
Dude, maybe if the Commanders do really well this year, next year they'll switch their team back to the Redskins.
Honestly, I'm still a proponent of you should have just kept it at the football team. Because, again, if they could have waited until they were actually good, could you imagine if you were a good team and you were just called the football team? Like, that's...
Who you root for? The football team?
Yeah, I'm rooting for the football team.
I would just wear a shirt that said the football team. That's burgundy and gold.
The marketing writes itself, so that's infuriating to me.
Yeah, Commanders suck. This team's actually not that bad, but the organization sucks. Yes. I'm going to pick Arizona. I'm going to be different.
They have new owners this year.
They do have new owners. They're doing better, but still, there's a salty taste in my mouth from the 20 years I've watched of them prior to this.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Cardinals have done pretty well this year, and I like how Kyler Murray has been playing. I like the way the offense has been rolling. I think they can keep up with the Commanders, and they have a pretty good safety tandem in Arizona, so maybe they can get a pick or two off of Jaden Daniels, and I think that's all you really need.
Jaden Daniels is pretty safe with the ball, though. That's the only thing.
He is, but I think Budda Baker could make a play.
Yeah, I just don't trust the Cardinals' rush defense enough to stop the read option against them.
Fair enough.
Pats Niners.
Niners, yeah. Has to be Niners, right?
Yeah, it's gotta be the Niners. They got to get a bounce back.
All right, this is another one. Browns Raiders. We don't even know who the Raiders quarterback is yet. But it's also the Browns.
It's also the Browns. They are actively playing against rapists. So, you know.
You got Max Crosby attacking Deshaun Watson.
You have two very unlikable people.
But Max Crosby didn't do anything wrong. He's just unlikable. But when he's going against someone who did something wrong.
Correct, yes. So in the hierarchy of things, Max Crosby definitely is not as high up there as Deshaun Watson. I have a weird feeling that the Browns are going to pull it out. I don't know why, but I just do.
I'm in the same boat. I think the Raiders should win. I think you can make the argument that the Raiders are in a better spot, but
they're the most poorly coached team.
Yeah, I just feel like the Browns have to get a win here, especially after losing the Giants last week. I don't see them losing to the Giants and then losing to the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they at least take one of those.
Yeah.
I'm going Raiders.
Fair enough. I don't blame you.
I'm rooting for the Raiders to play that
vibes and Deshaun Watson, but yeah. Chiefs Chargers.
I would take the line. There's no way that the Chiefs win by 8.5 points. So I think take the line for the Chargers to cover the spread. But the Chiefs, I'm not going to pick against the Chiefs until they lose. So
you can take that spread if you sign up at signupexpert.com/fiasco.
Yeah, and you're going to win money from me if you take that spread. So do it.
But also, we're not responsible if you lose money.
So definitely credit me if you do win money because you would.
Yeah, if you do win credit, fourth down fiasco. But we are not liable if you lose money. And we're not guaranteeing guaranteeing they win by less than 8.5, but it's very likely.
If you say I lost you money, you're getting blocked. That's all I'm saying.
You'll hear from my lawyers.
All right. Here's an interesting one. Bills Ravens.
Damn, I didn't even get to pick.
Sorry.
Damn, Danny.
It's an easy pick.
Damn, bro. Just all right. Just we don't care what the black guy on the pod has to say. Okay. Jeez.
Who do you want?
I was gonna go Chiefs. It's kind of hard to go.
Exactly. Cause the show for nothing. All right. Bills Ravens on Sunday night. Are the Ravens gonna go 1-3?
Nah, they're gonna win.
I don't know. I think Buffalo's got this one. I think I said it at the very beginning of the season. Everybody freaked out. I said this is the year Buffalo's going to win a bunch of games and Josh Allen's going to get his MVP. And everybody's like, the Buffalo Bills aren't going to get the 1 seed. Okay, Josh Allen's looked pretty good.
But also, we're looking at them. They beat the Cardinals, they beat the Dolphins without Tua, and then they beat the Jags. You know, this is going to be the first formidable opponent that they're going to face. I'm not saying that they're going to do bad this year, although I am a Josh Allen hater. But I think that the Ravens are going to ride the high. I think that this past week's game also shouldn't have been that close to begin with. I think that the Ravens kind of fell asleep at the wheel.
They definitely did.
And Dallas just kind of found a way to claw their way back in. But the Bills are going to put up a better fight. And so the Ravens are going to be on it for all 4 quarters. I think the Ravens are going to be 2-2 after this week.
I'm taking the Bills.
Fair enough.
They lost to the Raiders.
Fair enough.
I mean, to be fair, the Ravens are better than the Raiders, 100%, and that was just like a weird fluke loss. But I think the Bills have genuinely put together something pretty good here. So I just see the Bills taking this one. I still think Baltimore's going to make the playoffs, even if they go 1-3. But I think they're going to go 1-3.
I saw a graphic. It was like, hey, Josh, how do you want to build your roster? And it was like, do you want an all-pro wide receiver? And he's like, no. He's like, what about 4 of your best friends? And it was just like Shakir and like Coleman and like Kincaid. I was like, that's funny.
If it works for him,
Yeah. But okay, what about this first Monday night game? We have another double Monday night.
Oh, I totally did not see those two games at the bottom.
Titans against, I think, the Todd Bowles Dolphins. Who's the quarterback? Who's the third string quarterback for the Dolphins?
Todd Bowles is a coach.
That's fair.
Tim Boyle, I think is who you're thinking of.
Tim Boyle, yes. Against the Tim Boyle-led Dolphins?
Bro, screw it. Will Levis is giving us a master class. It's going to be ugly, but
This
he's
is going to be the most Jameis.
$44 to see
Yeah.
the Dolphins play.
But yeah,
They
it's
need
going to
a
be
better-
a Jameis Winston stat line. It's going to be like 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, but he's going to win the game.
Yeah, 400 yards. It was stupid.
Yes.
No,
He
I
might
think
have a double. Will Levis could go for a double-double. 10 touchdowns, 10 picks.
he could.
He could.
I think the Titans are going to win too. I think while Miami doesn't have Tua, their backup quarterback situation is so bad they're not doing shit.
Yeah.
How they haven't signed Ryan Tannehill yet is beyond
It
me.
is stupid. It's so dumb.
Or traded for Russell Wilson or somebody,
It is
Fucking
the
Mason
exact same
Rudolph
thing
and-
the Jets did last year. They're like, oh, we trust our backup, and then ruined the season. If they they could have brought back Sam Darnold, and he would have been fine in that team.
Yeah. Well,
Sometimes your backup is meant to be a backup, not a starter.
Yeah, Skylar Thompson blows.
Yeah.
That guy's cheeks.
This should be a good game, though. Last game of the week, Seattle in Detroit.
oof, that's
I think if Seattle wins this game, that's a huge statement from Seattle that Seattle is a threat in the NFC. I still am not bought in on Seattle, even though they're 3-0. I have been underrating Geno, though. You guys were definitely right about that when we talked about it a few weeks. Geno has looked pretty good. And I think, I don't see any reason that Geno can't win you these types of games at this point. Geno has been very underrated for a long time, and well, for the last 2 years since he had that breakout season.
yeah.
So I think Seattle could do it. Detroit is just such a better place, and they're just a
They're
more
so
competitive
weird,
roster. They are weird. Like, they lost the Bucks, and that was a weird loss. I just don't see them losing at home against Seattle. And Seattle struggles really hard with their O-line. They have a really bad O-line. And I think Aiden Hutchinson's going to eat that O-line alive, which is going to help a lot. And I also think Detroit just needs to run the ball. And, I mean, we saw that last week when they beat who they did. I mean, they just ran it down the other team's throat. And I think if they do that against Seattle, I don't think Seattle can get in the game.
I agree. I'm going with Detroit on this one, specifically because it's in Detroit. If they were in Seattle, I think I'd flip flop. I think that Seattle's the scrappier of the two teams, but I think that Detroit has the better talent through and through.
That's fair. I'm going Seattle. I still like Geno Smith. Like Taylor's been saying forever, ride the hot hand. They're 3-0.
You know what? There you go. Cool. All right. Y'all got anything else y'all want to add?
I'm good. I'm depressed, but that's fine.
All right. Well, I'm depressed too. I understand. But thanks everybody for listening. This has been the Fourth Down Fiasco with Jordan, Danny, and Tanner. As always, we ask that you rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Best way for us to grow the show. Thank you so much, everyone. We will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Well, I like school, and I like football, and I'm gonna keep doing them both because they make me